is the Stuck Mic AvCast, an aviation podcast about learning to fly, living to fly, and loving to fly.
Welcome back to the deck here at Sun and Fun. Chats from the deck. My name is Carl Valeri. We have a special segment here today. We are streaming live, liveatc.net/SNF. But also, this is actually our podcast for the Stuck Mic AvCast. And for those that don't know the Stuck Mic AvCast, it's a podcast about learning to fly, living to fly, and loving to fly. I'm joined by our co-host that you've probably heard a lot, and that is actually Russ Rosleski. Hey, Russ, how you doing?
Great, Carl. Fantastic event yet again.
It's great to see you. And also Tom Frick.
Hi, Carl. How's it going?
This
has been
wonderful.
Awesome.
It is. It's terrific. But before we get started, this is just going to be a short segment before we move into the next thing. One of the things we're going to do in this episode, this is our 2026 Sun and Fun episode, is we're going to have those different interviews that we do here live, our favorite ones. We're going to do 2 each, right? We're going to pick 2 each.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem because we had a lot of exciting interviews we did over the last several days, and you've limited me to picking 2 of my favorite.
Absolutely.
I could probably do 10.
You could pick 10. It doesn't mean we're going to keep
Yeah,
those
you'll veto them, sure.
So in the past, as you know, we used to put a daily out at Sun and Fun, and we've had some issues, some challenges. As you know, it's no secret that I had some medical issues, and so everything's getting better, which is terrific. And we're going to move forward and making a big announcement that we're back to our regular schedule of doing the 1st and the 15th, starting May 1st of 2026, putting out episodes of the Stuck Mic AvCast. We've gotten a lot of requests from you, and you really, truly love the fact that we're really general aviation specific. And those topics will include the same topics we've had before, but also more. It's really, if you have a passion for aviation, if you have a product or service, and you want to tell your story on our show, it's really easy. StuckMicAvCast.com/guest. And book a time, and we would love to have you on. And just as a reminder, our segments include interviews, we include topics like deep stalls and things like that, but we also have our picks of the week, and that's what we're bringing back too. And what's interesting is, and I haven't told these guys yet, so I'm going to actually.
Here we go, Tom.
I knew.
Yeah.
This is where the contract negotiations start.
This is where it actually starts. Is that I didn't warn them about this, because I'm going to have them give us their pick of the show here at Sun and Fun. And since they didn't know I was going to spring this on them, I'm going to let them think about that. And I was going to tell you mine. But before we do that, I want to tell you a little something about Sun and Fun. And the fact that here at Sun and Fun, it's all about the volunteers, right? That's how we make Sun and Fun Radio go. And this radio station, every year, I remember the first year we did this, it was covered with people from the Stuck Mic AvCast. As a matter of fact, on the campus grounds, we've had some former co-hosts, at Victoria Newville, and we got to see her. It
was great seeing her again.
Absolutely.
It was absolutely wonderful. We also have Bill English is out there doing some stuff with STOL and the big tire stuff. We have all sorts of great people that are out there that have been on the show in the past and said, hey, I want to come back on the show. Another big part of our audience, especially, are those airline pilots that are really into general aviation. They love to hear that perspective from somebody else who's an airline pilot that is a general aviation pilot too. So we're excited to get back into that role again. We've heard you. We're back. We're going to do it the 1st and the 15th of the month. So that's a big announcement for us. That's for sure. We did it for 10 years. Didn't miss one episode for 10 straight years. And then went down. Life happens. Life happens.
Life does happen. Yeah, nobody's blaming anybody for that.
No, absolutely not. So as far as this show, one thing I do want to point out is my favorite thing about the show, and then I'll give you my pick of the show, is the fact that this really is, I think, this is kind of our air show family. And
Absolutely.
I was totally reminded of that when Victoria Newville posted something about an event that she did up in Frederick, Maryland, about the girls fly it forward type of thing, and she talked about that air show family. And we've seen births, marriages, and all sorts of things happen over a lifetime. And we've been on those journeys of people that have actually gone through their ratings. And what was really funny is that a lot of times we have co-hosts on that really they become pilots, but not only that, become flight instructors and wind up doing this for a career, which is absolutely awesome. And that's one thing I do want people to know is that we're all into GA in our different venues, in our different directions. For instance, I wound up working as an airline pilot. I'm a captain on the A320. I teach in the simulator on the A320. Tom, how about you? I mean, what is your background, GM? What do you do now in the aviation world?
Yeah, I mean, I started off just with a private pilot and then moved forward, ended up making it into commercial and made it a career. Got a flight instructor. I taught. I've flown private jets, and now I'm back to teaching, and I'm actually doing some A&P work now and trying to get in the mechanical side of it, and just, it expanded into all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, this little hobby became a passion, and
then finding stuff like this, venues to give it back to the community.
Yeah.
I mean, we always talk about what a large industry this is, but what a small community, and giving back to it is, I'm more than happy to do so, and it's just awesome to be able to do that, to put yourself out there and like, hey, you need some help. And, generally when you ask that question, someone will go, yeah, come over here.
especially if they're in aviation.
Yes.
Russ Rosleski also has had a long history in the FAA and also working now, even still in the FAA, and been in and out. General aviation, though, is still your passion.
It's been aviation in general has been my whole life. I mean, I was an air traffic controller in the Air Force, involved in general aviation, all the way up through CFI and a lot of instruction, and then including, as you mentioned, the FAA. So I mean, I'm a flight check pilot for the FAA. We certify instrument approaches, departures, obstacles, radars, communication systems, lighting systems, all that kind of stuff. And it's a fascinating part of aviation that I really, really enjoy. It's been fantastic. I am here on my own time, at my own expense, of course. I've got to throw that in, yes.
Yes, yeah. As a matter of fact, and we're not paying you either, right?
No, I get a raise every year, and
we've
zero is
tripled
still
his pay
zero.
every year since he's been here.
That's right.
So, guys, I want to kind of shift gears into what's our pick of the show, and I guess I'll start with that. It's something. And this is going to sound silly. I mean, I love the airplanes. Don't get me wrong, and I love Bristol, and I love Cirrus, and I love looking at all the different aircraft that are out there and the people. But you know what? The one thing is that I come every year for. And actually, Russ has been able to see that thing and helped me put it up the other day. And that's actually Huffy's Airport Windsocks. And you can find them online
Yes.
at huffyswindsocks.com. That actually has been my go-to every single year. It's what I look for. It sounds silly. I don't understand why I'm so attracted to that. But there's another guy here, Roger, with Sky Spot, who's one of my neighbors. And I saw this in front of his yard. And it drew me in, and I said, hey, who are you and what do you do? And I'm saying, hey, I'm Roger with Sky Spot. And that's what it's done for me. That small little windsock in front of my house has kind of changed my life because people are like, hey, I'm in aviation also, so check them out. Huffy's Windsocks, and they're actually here on the campus. How about you?
And there's one next to your driveway.
There's one right next to the driveway.
Yes, expertly installed
and
with
it
the
was
system.
installed by Russ Rosleski and myself. It was a group effort.
Yeah, very group effort, very difficult.
Yeah, he ran away when the snake came out.
That's true. So I actually chose two because you didn't give me much time, but they're both the same in the same field. It's the idea of electrically powered airplanes. Electric motors. And I talked to two folks, Magni X and H55, and they're both working on similar type of processes to increase, battery capacity and power and that kind of thing, so that we have all the technology we've gotten from electric cars is transferring over to airplanes. And it's, baby steps, of course, but you got to start somewhere. And, they're looking at, having flight times of, hour and a half or so, good training, environment kind of thing. And start there and see where it goes.
That's cool. And I am excited about that, too. I can't wait to be flying around electric aircraft.
Yeah, quiet, smooth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Tom, what is your pick of the show?
Pick of the show for me, I mean, I wander over in this corner of the hangar all the time and I stand there, and one of these days I'm going to have to fit something into my house for this thing. But I like METAR maps, and
of course, yes.
of course, and it's like, and the cool thing, I was looking at, they've gotten better. Instead of just having a map of either a country or a state or a region, which is what they've been doing forever, now they're integrating it into sectional charts and IFR charts. You can have whatever you want as a background, whatever map you want to set in there. And then, of course, you got the lighted, it hooks into NOAA's stuff, and it gives you all the METARs all over the country, and it's the lighting part of it. And it's real cool.
It is very cool.
The whole country one, it's like, I love just watching it because you can see systems moving across, throughout the day and watching like a place go from clear green VFR down to marginal, down to IFR, down to low IFR,
Right.
and then back up again, as the system passes through, but yeah, For my pick was METAR Maps this time.
METARmaps.com. Go check them out. And also, we're going to roll right into our actual 2 picks for each of us as far as our favorites at the show here at Sun and Fun, the Stuck Mic AvCast at Sun and Fun 2026. Check us out if you want to be a guest. It's real easy. StuckMicAvCast.com/guest.
We're back with Son of Fun Radio on the deck with Russ Rosleski. Alex is back. Carl took a little break. We are Son of Fun Radio 1510 a.m. liveatc.net/SNF, streaming year-round, all year-round, day and night, whenever you want to listen to us, 24/7. Now I have Pete Buffington from Speed Break Armed, which is kind of a cool name. I like that. Pete, how you doing today?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for hosting me here today. It's great to be back at Sun and Fun. This is my 3rd visit in probably the last 12 years.
Fantastic.
But I'm from Waukesha, Wisconsin, so I'm a big Oshkosh guy.
Oh, we don't talk about that show. That's the other show of the
I'll
North.
try to stay away from that subject.
It's the Sun and Fun of the North.
That's right.
Yes.
And he doesn't take offense to being called the cheesehead, Russ.
No, it doesn't. Okay, fantastic. Speed Break Armed, what is it?
Okay, so we are an aviation-themed music band that just started here within the last 6 months. We started pushing out musical albums that have a very heavy aviation-themed focus. The band consists of myself, my wife, and a little bit of help from my 18-year-old daughter, based in Waukesha, Wisconsin. We have a home-based music studio. So as I mentioned, I fly 737s for United Airlines based in Chicago, Illinois. And on my days off, we produce music. And the music, no pun intended, is taking off.
Not intended, I'm sure.
Right.
Yes, of course. So,
cheesy. Yeah.
So what type of music are we talking about here? I mean, am I going to hear this on the radio?
Well, we're getting very close to that. Yep, we're getting a lot of interest from around the country. The music is distributed by my distributor DistroKid, and so it's out on all services, about 30 services, including YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, that type of thing. And that's all doing really, really well. The music genres, to answer your questions more specifically, is we cover a wide range, believe it or not. Due to the advent of some of the recent technology, we're able to incorporate country music, country rock, easy listening, adult contemporary, a little bit of big band music, if you can believe that. We have a 1940s themed hangar dance album. And all the lyrics from all 6 albums are written by myself. That's just from experiences of attending air shows over the last 30 years, along with my 30 years of flying experience. And using that background and some of that expertise of being raised in a musical environment and flying, I started doing some research, and I found that there really is not a whole lot of aviation-themed music out there, or even albums that are dedicated to specifically aviation. And I thought, wouldn't that be a really cool idea to start pushing some albums out just aviation-focused? And so far, so good. I released my first album here about 6 months ago, and now we are up to album number 6. That first album, I would say, is more of an experimental album. It went over really well. The album is called Red Eye, 737 Red Eye.
Appropriate name.
Yep. And my most recent album, if you go and look, is titled Airshow America 2. I did Airshow America several months ago, and Airshow America 2 now just recently came out. So.
And Russ, I just subscribed to his YouTube channel, Speed Break Armed, and he's really, really taking off. No pun.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
I was driving in this morning from a hotel, and I got a notice from YouTube that I just exceeded 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah, we got to celebrate.
Which is great.
Yeah,
and I just literally created the channel.
Congratulations, Pete.
So it's feeling pretty good. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of great feedback. And of course, a lot of these songs that I write for are specifically for aerobatic pilot and their routines. And they've been reaching out and very, very positive feedback. And it was a little bit late for Sun and Fun to try to get some of this music coordinated with the airshow routines here, but won't break the secret. But there's a lot of really, really cool things in the works for the Oshkosh show coming up here in July. So
that sounds great. In fact, you answered my question I was going to ask already. Would it be? Yeah. What was your market generally to kind of hear this music? Is this? Mm-hmm. Air show background music for aerobatics.
Yeah,
sounds great. I mean, that's all high energy kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. So I have aerobatic specific pilot songs. I wrote a high intensity, almost borderline punk rock song for Michael Goulian, as you can imagine, his sport pilot aerobatic routine.
Yes.
And the music and the lyrics just fit and match really well.
I cannot wait to hear this later on tonight.
I know.
And then, too bad we can't pull up a little bit here and play a tune. But I also did one of them that I'm really proud of is for the Titan aerobatic team. That's more of a country rock song, a little bit more low key with female and male vocals. And that just fits their routine on a big beautiful blue sky with those T6 Texans doing rolls and loops, and it's just a great fit, I think, for the routine. But also to answer your question, I have a lot of kind of generic songs, if you will, that focus on the night airshow aspects, and they carry a very laid back, new age kind of an ethereal feel to them that fit the nighttime and the pyros and the fireworks and everything. So. This is all brand new. It's got a lot of momentum behind it, so we might be kind of entering some new territory where when I went to air shows as a kid, I enjoyed watching the aerobatic routines, but the music always kind of bugged me that it was, just some generic AC/DC song.
It was all Van Halen.
Yeah, Van Halen.
All Van Halen.
Yeah, all right, so I'm like, all right, that's cool, but it doesn't really fit with the aviation. So that was my goal in doing this. I wanted to be sure that I created something that didn't sound, back to the cheese reference, cheesy.
Yeah.
So this is very high level music production.
So I'm a hobbyist musician. I've been a musician for my whole life. I've never tried to compose a song of any sort. That sounds like a challenge. So, what is your background, and how do you prepare for that?
So, as I mentioned, I come from a family history of musicians. My dad was the lead technician for Willitzer Corporation, based in DeKalb, Illinois. And he tuned and toured for Duke Ellington and Chubby Checker, if you know those two names.
Of course.
And Duke Ellington passed away in the late 70s, and then Chubby Checker, he's still around. But he was very popular with the song Do the Twist. And so my dad, having been involved in pianos, passed on tuning, piano repair, rebuilding, and mainly the tuning. I get a lot of people to call me and ask me to tune their piano. So I play piano. I played ever since I was a little kid. But in order to build these songs, I basically sat down and I start with the lyrics. I write the lyrics out. I've got a very strict format that I follow that follows kind of industry standards as far as an intro, a verse, a chorus, back to a verse, another chorus, and an outro. I'm getting into a lot more details with that. Now, of course, you've got to have words that rhyme in there because that's kind of what music does. But a lot of it is just a literary background of writing and using my experiences as a pilot and putting that down into paper. Once that's on paper, my wife and I, we get together and we start experimenting with different sounds. And obviously, it sounds like it would be difficult, but you can kind of narrow in right away about what kind of music theming that you want for a specific song. So let's say, you're going to do a song about Bob Carleton flying night aerobatics in his glider with pyrotechnics coming out. So maybe you want kind of like a Disney sounding song. So we've got a song for his aerobatic routine that's got a Disney theme. And as I was talking about, on the flip side, Michael Goulian, you want something high intensity, rock, punk rock, high adrenaline. That's probably the top end of the intensity that we go with. And then I've written also a lot of songs about just sights and sounds that I've seen as an airline pilot, flying 737s around the country with sunsets.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of easy listening songs in there with that. Yeah.
If you can pick one of your favorite songs you want me to listen to tonight, what would it be?
That's a great question, and somebody asked me that earlier, and it sounds kind of strange, but when I did that Hangar Dance album, it's a story. Every album that I write is a story that takes the listener on a journey, and in this particular album, it takes the listener from the 1940s big band era swing dance to the current day 2026.
It goes through all the genres.
It goes through all the genres.
Wow.
With big band music.
And it's Hangar Dance?
Yes, it's called Hangar Dance.
How long is it?
It's about 15 songs, and I would say an hour and 10 minutes of listening. The last song on that album is called Steampunk Swing of the Future. And that, too, was an experimental song for me where I started to pull in some instrumentation that I've never used before. So you can imagine a steampunk theme merging with big band music.
Russ, I didn't know you're into music. Why don't you sing for a couple of the songs, Russ?
How about that? Well, maybe we'll talk afterward.
So
speaking of which, we've got to wrap up here pretty quick.
Okay,
Give us you got a booth here?
Yes, so I'm over at the Flying Musicians Association tent. They're hosting me all weekend.
Welcome back to Son of Fun Radio, AM 1510 live, atc.net/SNF, streaming year-round. I am Russ Rosleski, back on the deck with Jim. How are you doing today, Jim?
My throat's feeling it from talking with all these great guests yesterday, but I'm still enjoying being here, and it's good to be here with you, Russ.
It is, and my throat's feeling it too. We're here now with Justin Meters of Limitless Air Racing. How you doing today, Justin?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a great event. I'm having a great time. Justin has a very interesting background. I mean, I see Formula One air racing, engineering, modifications to airplanes, all that kind of stuff. Why don't you give us a brief history of your life in aviation?
Okay, yeah, it all kind of started at about 5 when my dad let me have the controls of his airplane for the first time, and it was all downhill from there. It was airplanes all the time from then on. Airplanes and motorcycles. And then I used to race motorcycles and got hurt doing that, got paralyzed doing that, and didn't really get back to airplanes for quite a while after I got hurt. And then got back into it and just started loving it again. And eventually got into air racing and Formula One air racing, and really loved Formula One air racing. Built my own airplane for that, and it's a one of a kind airplane. There was only 2 flying versions, and mine's a lot modified from that version. So it was a fun process. It took me about 3 years to build the airplane. And in the meantime, I had borrowed an airplane to go race with, and had to modify it with hand controls for the rudder and brakes and throttle and everything, and went and had a great time flying that, and then took my own airplane out there and raced with it, starting in 2018, and won the first time out with it, and just had a great time with that airplane. And now I'm transitioning over into STOL competitions.
So, let me interrupt.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what Formula One airplanes are versus other. How do you position that? How will our listeners understand what kind of airplane that is?
Okay, yeah, we call it. We say that we wear the airplane because it's a very small airplane. Our minimum weight is 500 pounds, fixed pitch prop, fixed gear, and 66 square feet of wing area, and we all run an O200 engine. Now, we take an O200 engine and turn it 4,500 RPMs. And,
okay.
TBO is like, minutes. But it's a really, very small airplane and very fast, and it's purpose-built for racing.
So the class designation is the limitation on the square foot and the displacement of the motor.
Yeah, that's all the formula for the class.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it everybody has a different way of meeting that formula. Some run a short slab wing, some run long taper wings. My airplane was a long tapered wing airplane, so the speed differences in the class, we have gold, silver, and bronze in the class, and the gold airplanes are sometimes over 100 miles an hour faster than that.
How many racers are there in this world?
Before COVID happened, we used to have races all over the world, and we would have multiple a year. And then now there's just one a year, which was Reno.
I'm sorry. How many racers? Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I wasn't clear.
Active racers, there are probably about 30 active pilots right now. Okay. And then in one race, we have 8 airplanes launching at the same time. We all do a racehorse start on the runway. The green flag drops and we all go.
Oh, so this is not a timed race.
No, this is actual wingtip to wingtip around the pylons.
That's very exciting.
Yeah,
yeah,
that would be
good racing. Yeah. And I think it's interesting, as you mentioned. I mean, this is not like the P-51s racing,
right,
like you see in other classes. So it's an O200 engine. That's a Cessna 150 engine, right?
Yeah. When you take your 150 engine, make almost 200 horsepower with it, and we're going, entering the turn in the race at about 280.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's the fastest 150 I've ever seen.
Exactly. It really is, yeah.
But you also mentioned another interesting aspect of aviation that you're getting involved in, which is STOL competitions. Why don't you tell us, I guess first tell the listeners what is STOL and then what your involvement is.
So, STOL flying is, short takeoff and landing, obviously, but it's, flying out in the backcountry. We're landing on on a sandbar somewhere or wherever you want to land, really, because these airplanes do such a good job at really slow flying and landing in really tight spots and taking off in tight spots. But the competition side of it is it's competition to see your total between takeoff and landing distances, and you get 3 runs to do that, and each run is separate, so you don't get to pick and choose which was the best of each takeoff and landing. And then you at the end you get your score, and hopefully you're the shortest one.
Have you watched these videos, Jim? Are these people doing it?
Oh, I've watched the STOL competitions out
here, live.
Yeah.
It's
it is amazing
stuff.
You're basically landing a fixed-wing airplane like a helicopter.
Really is.
Yes.
So there you go. What's your best? How good are you?
In competition, my best was 21 feet takeoff, and I think it was a 30-foot landing or something like that.
Think about that.
That's my front yard.
Yeah. Yeah, the airplane weighed right around 850 pounds, and we made 1,200 pounds of thrust. So it was impressive.
So do you have a particular specially modified airplane you use for this?
I had a Just Aircraft Super STOL that I had designed hand controls for to fly the airplane, and then firewall forward we had a very custom and very experimental Yamaha turbo engine that we used. A lot of people have seen Steve Henry's videos and stuff, and it was similar or almost identical firewall forward, and it was just it was capable of 400 horsepower on an 850-pound airplane.
400 horsepower on an 850-pound airplane.
Yeah.
That's how you take off and land in 20 or 30 feet.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
What's the climb rate? That would be awesome.
It will not keep up. The instruments will not keep up with it.
Really?
And by the time you get to that point, where you're worried about temperatures, it's
you're too high.
You're high enough.
Yeah.
We like to fly low anyway.
Justin, do you do, besides flying, or do you do the mechanics side as well?
I do. Yeah, I build my own airplanes and all the controls and everything. I mean, I have people that I lean on for help sometimes. As far as bouncing engineering ideas off of people and stuff.
We all do that, right?
Yeah.
But you're right in there doing both the building and the flying.
The fabrication part of it, the actual building, and yeah. I mean, these airplanes come to you most of the time as a kit. The race planes do not, but the STOL stuff definitely does, and it's I really enjoy that aspect of it. I just sold the airplane, the Just Aircraft, and am building a Badlands Traveler now. I enjoy building the airplanes too, so that's part of the fun of it for me.
You've got the habit.
I sure do.
I really do. So you did mention you have these airplanes converted for hand controls. I think most of us don't have any idea what that would involve. Can you real briefly kind of, what does that modification like?
Yeah, I didn't know what involved when I started. It was like, how am I going to make this work? But airplanes are too fun not to figure it out.
Absolutely.
So in anything that I fly with a tail dragger, I try to keep it all kind of similar, just so it's muscle memory. And I have a left stick that is my rudder control, and I move it. It's forward and backward movement, forward for right rudder, back for left rudder. And then on each stick, center stick and that rudder control stick, I have a hand master cylinders so that I can differential braking. And then on the left stick, I have a twist throttle, so I can activate. No hands need to leave any controls to kind of like my own version of a military HOTAS. And then on the Just plane, I had a button on top where I had designed a pneumatically actuated flap system, so that I didn't have to take my hands off, like to grab a Johnson bar and do flaps and not be having control of rudder or pitch and roll or anything like that. So I had hands on everything pretty much. And the only thing I didn't have hands on was trim. And, it's not that big of a deal to have to trim the airplane.
You can figure that out.
I can figure that part out.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, airplane manufacturers could take a lesson from this in terms of the ergonomics and friendliness of the controls from what you've done, being able to not move your hands off the controls. That really is a very natural kind of a thing.
It really is. Yeah. You really feel connected to the airplane that way.
It's the way the military, fighter aircraft design is so that you don't have to take your hands off to do just about anything.
Right.
And these kind of constructed his own like that.
Yep.
And so you did all kind of the engineering for that yourself?
I did, yeah. On in my race plane, we had kind of a group effort on it, but in all the other airplanes I've done, I've just kind of had to work it out.
Well, Justin, I tell you what, I wish we had another 10 minutes to talk to you because this has been really amazing. I love it. Formula One, air racing, STOL competitions, all the good information about hand controls and such.
Any YouTube or any place that people learn more about you?
I haven't started a YouTube yet. I keep saying that I need to, but I have Instagram, Limitless Air Racing on Instagram.
Okay, Limitless Air Racing on Instagram. Okay.
And the same thing on Facebook.
Same thing. Okay, there you go. So people can look up some more information about Justin with his incredible homebrew design, ergonomic. It's just awesome.
We're here now with Liam Hawkins with the Mooney Anomaly. Hello,
Good morning,
Liam.
gentlemen.
Good morning.
Yeah, we've all got a little bit of that extra baritone voice in the morning, right? It's still working on waking up.
Our three bass singing group is now a three baritone.
There you go. Perfect. So, Liam, what is the Mooney Anomaly?
So the Mooney Anomaly, I guess in the literal sense, is a 1967 Mooney M20F that I bought a little over 4 years ago, and we transformed it into a thing that became the Mooney Anomaly. So when I bought it, the motor and prop were fine, but the paint was garbage, the panel was garbage, the interior wasn't that great. And so I put it down for almost a year, started working those things, and I showed it to a buddy of mine in St. Pete, and he called it ugly.
Oh man!
And it was white with a stripe of flaking off, and we're just drinking at a bar. He's like, "Can I fix it?" And it's my first airplane, so I didn't know anything about paint. The paint process, is it regulated, and so on. I started calling paint shops, asking the dumb questions, and we found a paint shop just down the road in Bartow, Ace Aircraft Finishing, that was crazy enough to partner with us, myself, the artist, and the shop, on doing something a little non-traditional. And so. It was about a 7-month wait, and during that time we would spitball ideas. But in the end, I gave the artist 2 sentences to describe what I wanted for a paint job. I said I wanted colorful, triangular, geometric shapes, and that I do not want any swirls, logos, faces, or lettering. And then he said, "Okay, I'll do a mock-up." And just had this idea, no mock-up.
Oh, no.
And he's like, "I'll send you updates." I said, "No updates." "Can I post online?" "No." Total blackout.
Just want to see it at the end, huh?
3 months later, I picked it up. It was this 45 colors, asymmetric, geometric shapes everywhere.
He met your requirements, didn't he?
Precisely. Yeah. And so that was a lot of fun. And once I saw it, I said, "Oh, people are going to notice this." And 2 months later, I'm here at Sun and Fun. And the magazine articles were already coming out. The brands were coming by, and some of the nonprofit organizations were asking if I had any alignments or if they could put brochures, or letting me know they had events, whether it was a pancake breakfast or Girls in Aviation Day or other special events, and asking if I could go. And it's like, yeah, that'd be great.
So what has this turned into? You have the physical plane, you have this attention grabber. And now, what has it turned into? You have people stopping you, asking you all these things. What do you do now with this Club Anomaly?
There we go. So I noticed that people were just smiling when they would look at it, ask questions, talk about it. I started making little free stickers, give it to them, they smile.
I got to get one.
Yeah, we can make that happen. I know a guy. And so then I realized, wow, it was something of inspiration for folks. This is all accidental. This is my personal plane for me to fly. And I started to realize I had like an impact on some folks. And then people started sharing stories about how I might have inspired an art piece. I started getting art in the mail. And then you get some folks that are like, "Hey, I started drawing this, and I'm afraid of flying. I saw your story about being fearful of flying, and I want you to know I just took my 5th flight lesson. And I'm working through the fear and working through the tips you shared with us and so on." Because I make videos about art and inspiration, creativity, but also about working through fear of flying or some technical things and some funny, goofy things. And so now it's kind of become a community piece. So we're here to inspire or promote inspiration, creativity, art access, scholarship fundraising, and community in aviation.
Incredible.
I love that this seems to be a completely accidental thing. It just kind of happened, and you rolled with it and made it into something more.
When people say they have a calling in life, and I didn't feel like I'd ever be one of those guys. Maybe this isn't my calling in life, but in aviation, this became a calling. This accidentally happened. I got sucked into it, and I love it. And so, a bit over a year ago, Sun and Fun leadership reached out to me and wanted to know if we could if they could feature the aircraft in the center of their marketing and poster and whatnot for Sun and Fun 2025. And I said, that's super cool. Yeah, of course. Who would say no to that? And they were really neat. We kind of partnered on a couple of things. And I said, hey, could I have a tent and have some art on display, sell some merch, host some kind of parties and community things, and meet an astronaut, meet an engineer, and meet a young aviators panel or fear of flying panel. They said, yeah, that'd be a great idea. And so Sun Fun graciously helped support that last year, and it was a hit. And so we're back this year with what we call the Mooney Anomaly Lounge. So we do sell merch during the day, but we do art projects. So right now we have Paint a Creeper, like a mechanic rolling creeper.
Right.
We have a chalk wall where you write what makes you an anomaly. We have a paper airplane project where on one side you write a message of inspiration or a message to your future or former self, and you fold up that paper plane, we hang it overhead, and we aim to have 250 of those hanging in there. We've got free Starlink and water for content creators and other visitors.
What kind of events are you hosting?
So tonight at the Mooney Anomaly Lounge from 6:30 p.m. till 10 p.m., we actually have an EDM DJ. And Fresco's, one of the on-site bars here, will be serving small bites for cash.
Awesome.
Or for sale. And they'll actually even have a bar featuring the Margarita Anomaly, my custom recipe. And tomorrow night, we will be hosting karaoke from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m.
I will be there. I will be there to sing. So where does the name Anomaly come from? We know anomaly means something unique, but where does it come from? Because you said somebody called your plane ugly. They didn't call it an anomaly, but you're not the Mooney Ugly. You're the Club Ugly. So where did anomaly come from?
So the artist that called it ugly, him and I were spitballing names once he finished the paint job. We were like, this needed something, the prism, the whatever. He's like, oh, it could be this, that, or other thing. I think we need to put a the in front of it. And we just spitballed back and forth, and we were just rapid firing a bunch of things. And I said anomaly, and it stuck. So
I love it. Yeah.
And when you first saw that airplane come out of the paint shop, be honest, was it, oh, this is perfect, or was it, I guess that'll work?
It was the biggest dopamine dump. I was so
really
excited. It was goosebumps and tears, and I feel it again right now. And it's been just over 3 years.
So where's your booth set up
That's
here?
cool.
So we're in kind of the south or southeast end of Vintage.
Okay.
Across from Paradise City, near Bushwheel Base Camp, not far from NOAA and the island. So it's one of these things where if you're driving that road or walking that road between Vintage and STOL Camp, you'll eventually see us.
And I assume the plane's sitting there, the Mooney Anomaly?
Yep, the Mooney Anomaly is sitting there, and then we have an outdoor lounge, comfy furniture, indoor lounge with fans and the art projects and the merch and whatnot.
I can't wait to see it. That's awesome.
You mentioned scholarship fundraising as one of your kind of focuses. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's done a couple of different ways. So we ourselves are not the funders of scholarships. That's outside of my reach. But we participate in events where we can help, whether we're just putting the plane on display or doing some science communication or inspirational stuff or kind of vulnerable stuff, talking about fear of flying or pilot mistakes and lessons, to help give more content and more attraction to nonprofit organizations and their events. And then, like for example, last year, we asked our sponsors and partners in aviation to donate products for us to raffle, where 100% of those proceeds will be split between 3 organizations. In fact, 2 of them are right here in Lakeland. One was Women in Aviation Lakeland chapter, housed here. The other one was the Lakeland Aero Club, which I'm sure you know, and hopefully everybody here knows, but the on-site high school here has an aviation program where for free or very affordable numbers, you could graduate high school with a pilot's license.
That's incredible.
It's
amazing,
a cool
right?
program.
Yeah, I mean, Sun and Fun and ACE are just so great for this community. And then the third organization was the Youth Scholarship Fund with Friends of Albert Whitted Airport, which is a group that I volunteer with and am a member of, based at Albert Whitted Airport in St. Petersburg, Florida, which is the home base of the Mooney Anomaly.
Great. So where can people find more about the Mooney Anomaly and participate and get involved if they're not physically here at Sun and Fun?
Sure. So across all socials, it's the Mooney Anomaly. I kind of favor Instagram, so that's the best place to keep up with us and see our content information at the Mooney Anomaly.
Awesome. Website?
TheMooneyAnomaly.com.
There you go. Perfect.
It's a pretty amazing flying billboard, essentially, for all this kind of stuff. And I'm sure you get lots of questions as you're flying around and, whatever you're using the airplane for.
Absolutely. We've done some fun modifications, if I could tell you a little bit about it.
Absolutely. We have a short time.
Got it. So, we've got the Lycoming IO360 engine powering the aircraft and a really neat composite propeller from Hartzell called the Outlaw. We added the smoking airplanes smoke system, and it's actually legal. We have a 337 signed by a DAR, and so I think we're the only Mooney aircraft in the world with smoke.
Awesome.
So you'll see us flying Sunday in the Flyby Showcase.
I can't wait. I'm going to go down there and check this airplane out. I know I've seen the pictures, and it looks really cool. So, hey, Liam, thank you so much for coming by the deck here. We appreciate your time and the interview. This is Russ Rosleski, Son of Fun Radio. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Chats from the Deck, live from the 2026 Son of Fun Aerospace Expo in Lakeland, Florida, on Son of Fun Radio. This is Tom Frick. I'm on the deck this morning, joined by Jack Hodgson. Jack, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. The day is going along. We're progressing.
But it's already,
blue sky is still there, and it's getting warmer.
It's already feeling warmer. Everybody, come to the show. It's going to be a great show, but be prepared because it's going to be a warm one.
So we have a special guest on the deck this morning.
This is pretty interesting and pretty, what's the word, attractive. Well, he's attractive, but that's not what I was going for, all right? The work he does is pretty attractive. Craig Tinder is here. Hi, Craig. How are you?
Hey, Jack. I'm doing great.
Craig.
Thank you, Tom, for having me today.
Aces in Action is the name of what you're doing. Tell us what that is.
Yeah, Aces in Action is my historical gallery. I'm a military aviation artist. I've been creating works of art focused on aircraft, ships, tanks, the men and women of the armed forces for just about 20 years now.
Yep. And how did you get started in this? What was the... Well, so there's two questions there. How did you get started as an artist? But let's start with how did you get started doing this military service art?
Yeah, so it really all began, many years back growing up. I grew up in the town of Reno, Nevada, the home of the Reno Air Races, where my dad was a architect. Designed casinos and then later ended up putting up lots of crews, pilots, veterans up during the races. And as a small child, I was really bitten by the aviation bug, hanging on the fences at the races every year and having an affinity towards art. I did have an opportunity to go to art school coming out of high school. My dad said, no, you're going to go do something much more practical. So I went the business route. Went and got a background in engineering design, have an MBA, worked in high tech my whole career. But at night, I would go back and work through sketches, designs, illustrations for magazines and books in the aviation world, and it's always been my passion. And about 9 years ago, I was able to take this full time, and it's just been a real great opportunity.
Yeah, and you are more than just an independent artist doing your thing. You work with the
Yeah. So my artwork is licensed with the U.S. Department of the Navy. I work with many museums and restoration shops all over the world. And what I do that's a little bit unique, not only do I paint the artwork, but I work with these museums and they send me actual relics and pieces of the aircraft, ships, and tanks. These are components that oftentimes have been sitting in storerooms collecting dust. Folks have not been too sure what to do with them, and when they found my artwork and we paired it up together, it's an opportunity where I get to tell the story of the relic through the artwork, and it creates a whole new learning experience. And so a lot of my art pieces start as commissions from museums. They end up with collectors, and it's just really kind of a one-stop shop where you can look at the visual, you can read the inscription about where that relic and what that scene was, but most importantly, it includes a relic that you can physically touch.
And I just want to be more specific. You actually incorporate this relic into your artwork.
That's correct.
And I'm going to show it to us in just a second, but I want to know, in addition to incorporating it into the art piece, is the relic useful to you as a reference for like colors and textures and that kind of thing?
Absolutely. And I have to tell you, I have put many a debate online with the IPMS modeler group to rest when they sit and debate certain shades of colors and different things, because I have the bona fide material. And it does. There are lots of unique variations. I learn something new every single time, and one of the things I often get asked from my collectors is, which one is your favorite art piece that you've done? And my answer always is, the latest one I just released, because I learned so much about it.
Right.
For people who are watching on the video stream, can you hold up that piece you've got right there? It's pretty cool.
This is one of my latest.
Up a little higher, so it's past the boom there. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Down just a little.
There we are. How's
there we go. We got it.
Okay.
That's a beautiful piece. For the people who are listening on audio only, can you describe what we're looking at?
Yeah.
Here?
So we're looking at a 12 by 18 inch canvas reproduction. I bring all my originals to canvas. This is an SBD Dauntless from Kwajalein in a dive bomb attack, and what you're able to see here in the bottom left corner, I create these data plates. I call them a data plate. They actually give the whole story about the mission that's taking place, and then there's a small fragment, and this is a piece of an SBD dive bomber. It comes from the dive break itself, and so on the back is a certificate of authenticity. This piece again is a official licensed art piece by the U.S. Department of the Navy. This is official licensed merchandise, and yeah, we sell them in different sizes. We also offer 30 by 20. We can go all the way up to 60 by 40, but each piece is unique. It's numbered and it's autographed by yours truly.
Yeah, and I'm no artist. I'm sort of a wannabe artist, but I'm fascinated by the process. You told me earlier that particular piece is a high quality computer print of an oil original. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What's your I don't know if workflow is the right term for art, but how do you go to create these?
Yeah, so workflow is actually the correct process, because when you take it to a business, you really have to work through an entire process that's repeatable and that's also affordable for customers. But it all begins, number one, with the relic and the research. And if I don't have enough provenance to the relic, if I don't have enough detail specifying where that relic comes from, it gets shelved until we have more information. I'm actually working on a birdcage Corsair that we're waiting to work on the Buno number of before we start the artwork. But everything starts with research. About a third of my time is spent in the research phase, going through books, the Library of Congress, the National Air and Space Museum Library, Bundesarchiv, if it's a German piece. Once I have enough information, I go back and look at pilot's logs, and I will actually look and take weather reports of that day in the 1940s, for example. I will understand using Google Earth where the sun was oriented, where the dive bombers were coming in, so that I get the shadows on the right side. If I have trees in the background, I'll take into account the species of trees, and I will look at the time of year, and I will know what type of leaf structure is actually on the leaf. So I go into a huge amount of detail. Then I start the painting.
Okay.
And then once the painting is completed, some of my larger canvases will take upwards of 6 months to paint. It takes almost a year in those cases for the oil paint to dry enough to get a varnish on. So some of these can be a very long process. Once that's completed, then we can go to a scanning process. We use a device called a cruise scanner, which is a large overhead camera that takes pictures of large format objects. It's a super high detailed resolution image. Then we can print on canvas on an Epson. We call it a Giclée printer, and it's a archival printer. The detail is incredible. And then at that point, that's when we start processing the relics. We button them up and we get them ready. And if it's a Navy piece, it actually goes to the Navy for evaluation. They review it, and if it gets approved, it becomes an official licensed product.
So that's a really interesting piece. I'm sure you've done great many pieces over the years. Are there any that stand out in your mind that you're particularly proud of or notable somehow?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a couple come to mind. This year in particular, we're at the 250th anniversary of our great nation. And we just released the Artemis print from the NASA launch that took place. Absolutely. We've also we're working through finalizing the USS Constitution, and in that process, we've made a number of discoveries of the battle that gave her the moniker of Old Ironsides. That's not very well known. If you come back to my booth, I'd love to spend more time. I can share that with you. And then just recently here, I was selected as the artist to design the Tuskegee Airmen Memorial in Walterboro, South Carolina. And we created some brand new artwork. We had one of the last 4 remaining Tuskegee Airmen with us, who was able to sign the artwork. But just like I do with the artwork and embedding the relics, we believe this is the first monument in the United States. We were able to embed a piece of a Tuskegee Airman P-51 Mustang into the granite. And
Nice.
they told me here a couple months ago, all those little fingers from all the school kids, they've polished it to be chrome.
That's nice.
Cool. So we're just under a minute here.
Yeah.
So where can we find you on the field this weekend, and how would somebody find you the rest of the year?
That's right. I'm right down in the middle of Vendor Alley. I've got my flags flying. Come and see me at NE 23, but you can always find me at acesinaction.com.
acesinaction.com.
Craig Tinder of Aces in Action. That's really fascinating.
Yep. Really appreciate you joining us this morning. So, let's see. We'll be right back with more from Chats from the Deck live from the 2026 Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo in Lakeland, Florida on Sun and Fun Radio.
Good morning, Sun and Fun. It is day 5 of Sun and Fun, red, white, and blue at 52. It's a wonderful day. We brought some great weather today, and it's been an incredible show so far. I am joined on the deck today with Jack Hodgson, Tom Frick, Jim Goldman, and a special guest, Amanda Holley. Welcome to the deck. It's wonderful to have you here. Speaking of the weather, you brought some wonderful weather this morning.
It has been a really, really nice week. This morning is another really nice morning. I mean, lots of sunshine, light winds. It's cool.
Absolutely. If you want to listen to us, 15:10 a.m., also liveatc.net/SNF, and you can stream us live on YouTube. SNF Radio. Well, Amanda, I know you can't stay very long, so first of all, before we get to all the events today and tonight, there's a night show, so this is important to know the weather tonight. How are we looking as far as the weather today?
We are going to be, it's going to be another warm one out there. Yesterday was our warmest day so far, and today is going to be very similar to that. So lots of sunshine, not a lot of cloud cover to, give us some relief from the shade at all. So you got to wear the sunscreen out there, stay hydrated. I know I had a headache at the end of the day yesterday, so that means I'm not drinking enough water. So if I'm not drinking enough water, everyone out there isn't either. So make sure you're drinking the water, please. It is going to be warm. We're going to be approaching that 90-degree mark, near record heat for us. So this is toasty. No rain in the forecast, a little bit of a light wind. And then this evening, those temperatures will cool off a little bit. If you get cool easy, you might be a little cool by the end of the night show. But that fire, those explosions will help to warm you up.
Oh, definitely warm you up. Especially the adrenaline's pumping, that's sure, for tonight and the air show tonight. As far as the air show this evening, that is going to be starting tonight. And first of all, the regular day show at 1 o'clock. We have some great acts that are coming up here. The night show is going to be Red Line Air Shows, Bob Carlton, of course, Nathan Hammond, Red Bull Air Force, and some other really great people, and the drones. I'm not sure if we can say this yet, but there might be something special happening with the drones this evening, and so please stay for that. It's
well, now you have our attention. Right?
That's what we call a tease.
Yeah. That wasn't actually a tease. That was a mistake, but I'll take it.
That's a technical term for that mistake.
So 2 things I wanted to jump in about this. Amanda, I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Yesterday morning, when you were with us, I asked you to. I tried to order up a little bit of clouds. All right, and I don't know if because you were probably on TV all day long. We actually got a little bit of clouds. You came through. Good job.
Right at the end there, we did.
Good job. So, it was a little bit of natural shade came to us yesterday. That was nice. Also, the 800-pound gorilla elephant here. All right, it's like, Dave's not here. Where's Dave? Dave's not here.
So Dave amazingly has lost his voice.
So I'm on that train too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't sound great.
Well, you sound great to us.
Thanks. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, her bad day is a good day for us. So absolutely terrific.
Yeah.
By the way, one thing also as far as thanking her, Amanda, you do some amazing things for Sun and Fun all year long, and I think people don't really appreciate that or know that. But what other involvement do you have with ACE and Sun and Fun?
Yeah, so of course, the parent company of Sun and Fun, right? Aerospace Center for Excellence. They're here year round, the other 51 weeks of the year. And I do a lot of volunteering for the programs that Sun and Fun supports. So they do summer camps, and I'm here talking to the kiddos. We do fun experiments. It's so fun, all different age groups as well. They do programs throughout the year as well. They do story time on Tuesdays where we read books to kids. Also do fun experiments there as well. And then countdown to Sun and Fun. Leading up to Sun and Fun, we do shows kind of talking about the different acts that Jean has planned out, and it's a good time.
Yeah, it's amazing. She brings a crowd in every time when we have an event. For those people that don't realize, the Aerospace Center for Excellence, that's the reason we're here. All this money goes to those programs. And for those that don't remember or know this, the mission of us is to engage educate and accelerate the next generation of aerospace professionals. That's why we're here, and that's why every single thing that we do here goes towards that program. Every dollar you spend on food, every dollar you spend on any type of ticket, anything that you buy here is going to go towards that.
I mean, there's a high school on campus that allows students to get their pilot's license before they graduate. It's amazing. And I give back like this because, excuse me, if I had something like this as a kid, if I had access to something like this, my career path would have been totally different. So I love the mission here and I love supporting it.
Absolutely. And then after high school, they can go to college. I actually was a coach of the flight team over here at Polk State College, and then on to the competitions, to the nationals, and then on to the airlines. What was a real blessing in the past day is seeing those kids come up to me and say, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm a captain at Delta. Oh, wow. Last time I remember them is when they were getting their private. Starting to feel a little bit old, but it's just a blessing to see those people move forward in their careers. And this is making a difference in their lives. There's so many people, especially at Polk State and also at the high school, that would never even dream of doing this because they could never afford it. And that is a hurdle that we're able to leap over because of Ace and people like you.
Well, I appreciate it. I love it. I love the mission here, and I'll keep coming back as long as they let me.
Yeah, and a big proponent of the mission. I know Jim Goldman, has been a huge help with ACE behind the scenes. He doesn't get enough credit for it, I think. But welcome to the deck again. I know, Jim, you actually have a little surprise for us. He's been having an issue. There's something going around, so Amanda, you might want to stay here very long because everybody is losing their voice if they stay here.
You might be able to see what it's going to come to.
Okay.
So, Jim, how you doing? We're going to get blamed for AI here in a minute.
No.
No, you have to put it up to the microphone.
He's trying to. So for people who aren't watching on the video stream, Jim is trying to do the Stephen Hawking thing and speak to us with his phone. But it's possible his microphone is not on because who would know yet?
Is the microphone on?
It is on. Oh, and see. Oh, and he just outed himself.
Good morning, Carl, Jack, and Tom. Great to be here with you this morning.
So people think we're live, but we really are AI.
Yeah.
And that proves it right there.
We're all computer generated.
I love, one of the
we
things.
We didn't actually come to the radio station this morning.
So, Amanda, I don't know a lot of your background with Son of Fun, how long you've been coming here, but one thing I love about this, it's my airshow family, and I've been coming since 1991. So tell us a little bit about how long you've been here or known about Son of Fun.
Yeah, so it actually kind of started by accident, which I feel like is, I hear a lot, I was here by accident and I never left. About 5 or 6 years ago, I emceed the bash. So I'm, a local TV personality, meteorologist here in the Tampa Bay area with an interest in aviation, and the folks back at the station knew that the bash needed an MC, and so I somehow got requested to do that, and that was my first year. I emceed the bash and had no idea about any of this, and every year I've come back in a bigger capacity, and I won't ever stop.
Yeah, and that's really cool because that little spark has really lit a fire to somebody who's real passionate now about aviation and also about Son of Fun. By the way, do you have you done an intro flight or have a license?
I don't have my private pilot's license. One day I will get it, but as you said, it is expensive, right? And it takes time and dedication. So it's on my list of things to do in the next couple of years for sure. But obviously have a love of aviation. I actually worked for Boeing for a little bit while I was in college, and that was my career path, to be an engineer for airplanes. So
here's a pitch for a sport pilot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, half the price and half the time.
Oh, that's a good pitch.
Absolutely. And there's a place you can get scholarships too, by the way, even non-traditional scholarships for those that are probably past college like yourself. You can actually find those online. Aerospacescholarships.com is one of them. There's so many different resources that you can find out there for scholarships, and also, of course, here. And those actually are accelerating not just the young folks, but everybody in aviation. That's another cool thing about this event. It's just a wide open tent.
It's making connections, and I've made so many connections over the years, and everyone has been so wonderful. It's really awesome to see.
And it's awesome to see people that are really inspired in areas where they can look at somebody and say, hey, there's somebody like me. Like our segment every day at 11 a.m., Women Shine. That's by the Women in Aviation. And she is just great. Kelly's awesome. And one of the reasons is that they really are moving the needle forward for young ladies and people in mid-career and even late career saying, yes, you can do it. We have seen the numbers grow up dramatically. It is really great to see more and more women in aviation. It's great to see a face like yours that's promoting it, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I'll have to look into that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing, too, is that just you being here means something.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And like I said, I'm just a volunteer like everybody else, and I really appreciate, the opportunities that I've gotten, but also want to thank all of the other volunteers that are out there because, again, it takes a village.
Yeah, Amanda, I know you have another event, I think, coming up here shortly. So
I sure do.
And so we don't want to keep you too much longer, but of course, they can find you on Channel 8 here locally.
Yes.
And you'll be here to do the weather briefing. And I've been watching you for years, of course. And
thank you.
You do a great job. And it's always on my TV in the morning. And there's Amanda. And then all of a sudden I saw her in Ace. I was like, oh, wow, there she is again. So it's wonderful to have you here on the team at the Aerospace Center for Excellence. Thanks again for coming.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Welcome back to Chats from the Deck live from the 2026 Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo, Lakeland, Florida on Sun and Fun Radio. I'm Russ Rosleski and
Tom Frick on the deck.
Thank you, Tom. We've been quite the team so far today, haven't we?
We have. Usually we get shuffled out and I get to talk to other people, but we seem to be joined at the hip today.
That's how it is. Well, now we're joined here today with Gleim Aviation. We've got Garrett Gleim and Ryan Jeff. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hey.
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
Good morning.
Doing well.
I think as pilots, we've all heard of Gleim products, training products, for decades and decades, right? Garrett, can you give us a little bit of history of your company?
Yeah, sure. So my dad started Gleim Aviation in 1980, and before that, in 1974, he started writing CPA review books. He was an accountant and actually a PhD. And as he started flying, when the accounting business started taking off, he realized that a lot of the people in the aviation community were memorizing questions and answers for their knowledge test, or the written test as they would have called it back then. And so he applied what he was doing on the accounting side and the study methodologies to aviation, and that's where we sort of began. But he's really been always interested in, we are still today, interested in safety and making sure people actually learn the material. Because when you get up in the air, you can't rely on your memorization of facts. You actually have to understand what's going on in the aircraft. And so we still maintain that today, but we've also always tried to be cutting edge on what we do. So, for example, we were the first online FERC for a flight instructor refresher course. We also were the first online 141 ground school. And then another initiative my dad wanted to do that we still embrace today is we have a BATD, a simulator. And most people in our industry, when they do a simulator, really drive that towards instrument training. But we actually drove it towards private training to try to help decrease the cost of flight instruction. And if people can learn on the ground and, frankly, make many of the mistakes on the ground, where it's cheap to pause or reset instead of in the air, it reduces flight training costs, makes flight training more efficient and effective. And so we've done that today, and it's been quite successful. And Ryan is our flight simulator specialist, and he's helped us with that. And we've kind of driving that towards, with Mosaic and Sport Pilot, to utilize that technology to help people earn their Sport Pilot certificates.
Yeah, we try to stay innovative with all our products, and technology is always moving very quickly. So with the course that Garrett was talking about, it's called the X-Plane Flight Training Course by Gleim, and it is a virtual instructor. So what we've done is we've basically taken what a student would do if they were to go into a flight school and go through entire syllabus with an instructor. We've taken that and made that virtual. So even the instructor wouldn't have to be there in person. The student can just sit at their computer as long as they have the controls and our software, and you're able to go through the entire private pilot or sport pilot syllabus.
Nice. So it almost sounds like you're trying to get where a student can go through and actually maybe get their certificate close to the 40 hours required, as opposed to, you see a lot of guys that are in the 50, 60, 70 hours before they get there.
Yeah.
Because of the breaks they got to take and all those things.
Yeah.
It's a great primer. It's a great primer for the student. So they're not going into flight training cold at all, right? So they already kind of understand some of the maneuvers that they're doing. The expectation is huge. I mean, we're both CFIs, and expectation for students is a big thing. I just did a presentation actually at a recent conference about meeting Gen Z and how they learn in today's day and age, and that's why we've taken note of that, and we've tried to innovate. And one product that we've developed is the Gleim Digital Pilot Examiner, which is an AI-based tool. So the reason why we developed that is a lot of instructors have told us that their feedback is a lot of students don't actually prepare for the ground training, and the first time they really do that orally is with the DPE. So they kind of go in that cold. So what we've done is, again, we've taken that and made that virtual with AI through the frameworks of the Private Pilot ACS. So you can ask our Gleim DPE, you will be asked a question from it, and you can answer however you'd like. You can speak into your phone or your computer, and then it will grade your answer. And if it's not a complete answer, it'll give you about 5 opportunities to get to the right answer, which is pretty cool. I mean, I wish I had that when I was training.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, and that's the innovations in training. It's awesome to see what you guys are doing. So, what else? We want to talk about instruction, but also
I want to ask about. I mean, so we got lots of. You probably were just about to go this way. Lots of changes in Sport Pilot with Mosaic, and you guys are certainly keeping up on technology. How about keeping up on the rule changes? And,
there's been quite a few different rules.
We've got quite the sound of.
Quite the sound in the background. Your voices will come over just fine, though.
Yeah, we can just wait a minute here.
There you go.
All right, yeah.
We have a couple seconds here.
Yes,
so we've updated our materials, so they're updated for Mosaic, but of course we're still waiting for the ACS to be released for Sport Pilot, and so we're limited in how much we can do.
Right.
But we've driven to having materials there accessible for people. So, for example, we have a flight maneuvers book that actually goes through all the maneuvers in the practical test standards, because that's currently PTS. And we break down how to do each flight maneuver, but we also provide detailed analysis on what the common errors are. So that sort of dovetails nicely into our BATD. When you're trying to do some of these maneuvers on your own, you could do them without your flight instructor, because the software will actually grade you on your maneuvers, and you can actually have references to how you should have done it, and also as well as the common errors, which usually when you do it wrong, it'll be one of the common errors.
Yeah, the common errors is I think pretty important, because the student doesn't need to hop into the plane to recognize what some of the issues they might experience, right, in a certain maneuver. They're able to read it in a book, and then, again, expectation. They're able to go into the airplane with their instructor and know that something is about to happen in a certain maneuver, and they're able to adjust how they actually fly the plane. It gets them ahead of the game. Yeah.
Nice. And I mean, I love how this is all put together, because, like, I'll date myself here, but when I was training to be a private pilot, I would take a lesson and I would go back home, and I had Microsoft Flight Sim 10, and I would redo the lesson over and over again on the simulator, and then go back. And my instructor was always like, "Man, it doesn't seem like you're losing anything." I said, "Because I'm practicing, and it's like I did get mine done right around that 40-hour mark for that reason." So seeing this in a concise manner that you can use for yourself, everybody else and stuff.
Yeah, the ability to study outside of the the flight school itself on your at home is huge.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the best part about our X-Plane flight training course is you don't need an expensive simulator. As long as you have a laptop, you can purchase our products.
Internet connection?
Yeah.
Internet connection.
Actually, it's all hosted locally, too. You don't need an internet connection unless you need to update it, and it's all under $100. And
nice.
and we're here in Hangar C at the show, and we'd love to talk to anybody who's interested in some of our products. And especially flight schools, we have a lot of systems and ecosystems that we've developed for sport ecosystem. We've completely redone the sport ecosystem for Mosaic. We've talked about some of the October rules that were implemented, and some of the July ones that are coming in our products. And we just want to be as clear as possible and as transparent as possible with what students can expect with training, and we want to help schools out.
Oh, I love it.
Well, we're coming down to less than 2 minutes left. So is there anything else you guys wanted to make sure we hit on here?
Cross check? You want to?
Oh, yeah. So we actually
This is quite interesting because we have a lot of schools and a lot of students using a program, our online ground school program,
Right.
but their instructors don't actually have insight into what the students are doing. So if they tell the student to complete up to studying at 5 before we fly again, the instructors don't actually know besides the student telling them they're done. But what we've done 2 years ago, we've created this, actually, was it last year? It was last year. We've created a program called CrossCheck. So a student can assign their online ground school to an instructor's cross-check account, so the instructor can see what their scores are, what their grades are, how far they've progressed, and beyond that, they can also see enrollment certificates, graduation certificates, and if the instructor needs to add time for, say, a Part 141 environment, they can also do that. So cross-check is just at its infancy, and we want everybody who uses the Gleim online ground school to get on that, and it's completely free for schools and instructors, and we hope you make use of it.
That's awesome. So, under a minute here, tell us where we can find you during the show, during the week here, and where they can find you the rest of the year.
Yeah, we are at Hangar C, booth C40, and we have a whole team there. Garrett, our president, is here. We have our FERC administrator here, and for the rest of the year, if you want to go to our website at aviation.gleim.com, you can find us there. We also have a team of experienced aviators back in the office right now. If you want to give us a call too, they're happy to talk to you. Some of them have referred some of the people who've called in to see us here at the booth. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys. I appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah, this has been great. Gleim Aviation, a well-known name in all of aviation. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We'll be back with more Chats from the Deck live from the 2026 Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo in Lakeland, Florida on Sun and Fun Radio.